Welcome to a review of the TYR Force Ones. So ever since I started my journey as an athlete and got my hands on my first pair of weightlifting shoes, I've really enjoyed wearing them. It kind of offers a level of performance and kind of focus to your training sessions in the gym that any other shoes just don't really provide for you. And make your performances much better when it comes to kind of doing squats and obviously the Olympic lifts like the snatch, clean and jerk, and any kind of variation of a clean. But yeah, ever since got my first pair and kind of got more involved in the kind of weightlifting world, seeing some great weightlifters kind of being associated with certain types of shoes, and kind of trying out different pairs has become like a bit of a hobby of mine, and kind of really enjoyed trying out different pairs, seeing how they feel, seeing how they look, and yeah, it's been a real passion of mine over the past few years. So the reason why I'm kind of so excited to get my hands on the TYR shoes is that they are incredibly similar to the 2008 Star weightlifting shoes. So these are a legendary weightlifting shoe. They are worn by some great Russian lifters like Klokov. If you don't know who Klokov is, you're going to have an absolute treat going down that rabbit hole of seeing what kind of a beast, what kind of beast of an athlete that he was. Apti Alkudov, an incredible Russian weightlifter. And then other legends like Matthias Steiner as well. If you don't know who Matthias Steiner is and his kind of athletic story, he has one of the kind of best Olympic stories, one of the best Olympic performances as well. And there's an incredible video that's been made about him, which I'll link in the description, which will be a real treat for you to watch after you watch this video. How do these kind of shoes compare? Obviously, they look very similar. One of the reasons why this shoe is so popular is the way it looks. It's got a really classic, clean design. It's got the wooden heel, which is really cool. It makes a nice noise when you stamp on the platform. To a non-weightlifter it might sound really silly, but it sounds like a really crisp, clean stamp onto the platform. And it's just got great classic design. It's made from, I think, kangaroo leather, which is fairly robust. The shoe is nearly 15 years old now, so it does have some kind of wear to them. But if you look after them, they do hold up really well. Comparing them to this TYR shoe, you can see like a lot of design cues, extremely similar. And what's really funny is that if you're a weightlifter, you'll kind of know or have seen Apti in one of his competitions. I think Russia had a potential sponsor conflict during a certain time, so he actually had to kind of tape up with white tape the kind of black bands that go around the shoe, which kind of looks exactly how this clean kind of TYR shoe now kind of looks. And I think it looks great when you're wearing it, when you're lifting on it. Looks really clean, looks really cool, and sounds very similar as well, kind of when you're going about your movements on the platform. So comparing this to kind of shoes that are kind of on the market these days, it's more direct competitor in terms of price and things like that would be the Anta 2. So I was a massive fan of the Anta 1s. They fit really well. Probably one of my favourite, if not my favourite, kind of performing shoe. They just fit my feet really well. It's got a really nice heel height to them. And not the best looking shoe by any stretch, but they felt great. So I was really excited to get the Anta 2s and was really disappointed by them. So the TYRs have been much better, much kind of wider fit shoe, which suits my feet really well. I do have quite wide feet, and the Anta, the way it's kind of constructed, actually kind of constricted my feet and actually made them really hurt about kind of half an hour into a session, and they just felt really clunky. I didn't feel very athletic in them. They look kind of cool, but I was really disappointed by those. Whereas the TYR shoe, I felt kind of straight away that these would be a really good shoe. Wide fit doesn't feel excessively wide. Like my foot definitely isn't kind of moving around in them. They feel really locked in. I think in part that's kind of helped by a lot of padding, which I'm a massive fan of. You feel really secure and snug in the shoe without it feeling, too bulky either. The grip on them is excellent. Don't feel like I'm slipping around at all. Obviously, like these are a brand new shoe, you'd expect that. That feels really good. The heel height's about an inch. Compared to an Star, I think it's about more like 3/4 of an inch. But I much prefer a 1 inch heel. I'm pretty tall. I'm 6'4", have a little bit longer limbs than normal, and yeah, do feel a lot more comfortable in kind of bottom position of a snatch with the kind of higher heel. In terms of build quality, they feel really good actually. Like the leather feels really premium, kind of breaking them in a bit more, they feel like a bit less plasticky, a bit more leather-like now, and they look really good. Looks like they're going to hold up really well. They've got some extra protection around the front. I have had another pair of Adidas Stars before, and they would kind of crack around the kind of toe box area. Yeah, partly just be due to an old shoe, but they've really reinforced that area. It looks like they've kind of learned from that kind of mistake, and does feel, yeah, like the shoe's going to be well protected as you wear it. I do like the double strap system that they've got. It just makes you feel that shoe that bit more locked in. I do like a single strap. You know, it's not going to make a world of difference in terms of performance, and if any, it just feels that bit more locked in compared to a single strap. But I don't know, I think they could potentially release a single strap version that's a bit wider and might offer that extra kind of cleaner look. And if they did really want to replicate the look of an Adidas Star, then, you know, potentially one black stripe might look really cool as part of the shoe. In terms of the carbon plate, I think it's a bit more of a gimmick than anything else. I didn't really feel like it was massively increasing it, and maybe felt a bit more stable in a split jerk. You can kind of feel that extra kind of resistance through your foot as you kind of plant your back foot on the split jerk. But in terms of having more, being able to put more force through the floor, through the platform, I'm not quite sure. Obviously, they kind of taken inspiration from like a running shoe, and you can kind of see the effect of it in a running shoe, where, you know, the transfer of force as you plant your foot in a running shoe, you're going to flex that carbon plate, and then you're going to be able to use that energy to propel you forwards a bit more. Whereas obviously on a weightlifting shoe, you're just going from a static position straight up. You're not really storing any force per se. So I'm not really sure, you know, if it's going to increase your performance, if at all. But you can see the carbon through the shoe, which I guess it kind of looks cool, and is a cool feature of the shoe. But in terms of added performance, yeah, I'm fairly skeptical how much it will actually help. Having said that, you know, I wore this shoe for about a week before doing some testing at one of the Seeker Strength seminars, which was great fun. But I did set some really big PBs. Definitely not in part just due to the shoe. I had just finished a really big training block, hit multiple strength PBs along the way, and received some obviously great coaching from Gabriel and the guys at Seeker Strength, Owen and Dara, which obviously would have helped a lot, help get those PBs. So I went from having a 120 snatch to a 130 snatch.
Come on!
And a 155 clean and jerk to a 160 clean and jerk. I also set a squat PB recently, went from 230 to 240. And in terms of kind of how these feel to squat with compared to kind of Olympic lifting with, they feel really good. They feel really good. The heel height feels great. They feel super stable as I'm lifting. You can probably tell as I hold it up, like a lot of the kind of retro weight shoes do have quite an upturn to the sole, and you can definitely feel that when you are lifting. Like, you do have to make sure you're extra balanced, whereas like with a more modern shoe, they are a bit flatter to the ground, and it does just help kind of lock you in that little bit more, and you do feel that tiny bit more stable, which is great. So kind of elephant in the room is the price of this shoe. So I paid £250 for this shoe, and you know, why is it priced this way? So they've also used kind of premium materials. You know, I can't imagine it is easy having a production process involving wood and getting that kind of different across multiple sizes. Does feel like there's been no expense really spared with the shoe. You know, it's premium materials. They haven't kind of cheaped out in regards to anything. It's got like carbon plate. It's got nice thick materials, good laces, a spare set of laces. Even the kind of bit that kind of ratchets us up, the strap, super premium. It's got like a knurling to it, akin to a barbell, which is kind of cool. It's those details that you would expect when you pay a premium price. And yeah, £250 for a racing shoe or any kind of shoe, that is quite an investment compared to a normal shoe. Are you going to get performance out of it compared to a Adidas shoe? If you're an elite lifter, you probably might get an extra ounce out of it, and and at that end of the game, when £100 is not going to be much compared to the hours and hours and hours that you're going to be putting into a sport. I probably would think for an elite lifter, it would be worth getting that extra performance out of a better shoe. But if you're kind of a more casual lifter, especially if you're just getting into a sport that's involving a bit of weightlifting, you definitely don't need to get a big premium shoe like this. There's a massive second-hand market now for weightlifting shoes. Where you can pick them up really cheap for between £20 and £60. You can pick up a really decent pair. And that is all you need to start with if you're just doing power cleans. If you're a rower, obviously it's a rowing channel, you definitely don't need a pair of shoes like this, unless you are kind of into the weightlifting world and just want to experience what it's like to wear a really premium shoe. Obviously knock yourselves out, but you definitely don't need this to kind of get the performance out of yourself in the gym. Who is this weightlifting shoe for? It's probably for people like myself who really love weightlifting. Like that kind of classic look from previously, and if you're looking to get something that looks similar to this, it is this. You're going to pay at least £500 for a decent pair of these, whereas these are £250, half the price, and obviously brand new. Build quality is better. I do think it's a better performing shoe, so in that regard it's a bit of a bargain. So depends how you look at it. I rate these, I think £250. Probably justified. Yes, it is expensive, but can see why it is priced at that point. In terms of sizing, so I wear a size UK 10. To be exact, my favourite size of shoe is a 44.5, kind of like a small 10 with a wide foot. These are a men's US 10.5, UK 10, or a 44 2/3 EU. So yeah, prefer a 44.5. And they fit pretty much perfectly. It may a tiny bit on the big side, but I definitely wouldn't want to go much smaller. They feel pretty perfect for me. So yeah, true to size is what I would recommend. So hope you enjoyed the review, and if you have any requests for any other reviews or videos, we'll see how this does, and I'll be happy to make a recommendation. If TYR want to chuck me a discount code, I'll put that in the description. You never know what happens. But yeah, see you on the next one.